Welcome. We're going to work through this question here, question 8. I know that is causing some people a bit of grief, so hopefully by the end of this, you just feel a little bit better with it. Okay, let's give it a read. It says, find two quadratic functions, f of f and g, such that f of 1 is equal to 0, g of 1 is equal to 0, f of 0 is equal to 10, g of 0 is equal to 10, and both have a maximum value of 18. Okay, so a lot of things going on there. I want to show you how to do this question two ways. In this first part, I'm going to show you how to use your CAS calculator to answer this question, because it's far easier using your CAS to answer this question than by doing it by hand. So the first part of this lesson, this video, I'm going to show you how to use your CAS calculator to answer this question. Perfect. All right. The first thing we're going to do now, remember I'm showing you how to use your CAS. But even though we're using our CAS, we first need to visualize what's happening here, just kind of get a picture in our head of what's actually going on. So we know that we've got two quadratic functions, and we are told that f of 1 is equal to 0. So let's think about that for a second. F of 1 is equal to 0. That's saying that when x is 1, y is 0. So let's put that on our graph here. It's going to be here. So it's going through that x-intercept there, an x-intercept of 1. We're also told that g of 1 is equal to 0. So g of 1 is equal to 0. What does that mean? That means that when x is 1, y is 0. So would you know it's the same thing? It's just going through the same point. So that means the function f and the function g have the same x-intercept. That's what that piece of information there is telling me. And now we continue on. So the next thing we're told is that f of 0 is equal to 10. F of 0 is equal to 10. What's that mean? That means that when x is 0, y is 10. So that means I have a y-intercept at this time, and it's going to be here. That's going to be 0, 10. And what else are we told? We're told that g of 0 is equal to 10. I can't talk. G of 0 is equal to 10. So that means when x is 0, my y is 10. Would you know it? It's going through the same point again. So the functions f and g have the same y-intercept and the same x-intercept. Amazing. Okay, next. We are also told that both have a maximum value of 18. Now, whenever you're talking about a maximum or minimum value, it's always referring to the y. So this is saying that the max value is equal to, I don't know what the x is, but I know that the y is going to be 18. So if I come here for a moment and mark that as 18, that's going to be my maximum. So I know that one graph is going to be over here. I don't know what the x is. I know this is 18. I know it has to go through this y-intercept. Well, let's see if I can do that again. It's going to go through that y-intercept, come down. Let's see if I can do this a bit better. Sorry, guys. It's very hard to draw on this thing. Woo. I want to do that one more time because I can do it better. There we go. So that one it's really quite narrow, and that is the point x18. So as you can see, and let's call this, I don't know, g of x. It doesn't really matter. I could have called it f of x, but let's just call it g of x. As you can see, I'm going through the x-intercept, I'm going through the y-intercept, and I've got a maximum value. I can also draw this another way. I could draw it like this. Oh, let's do this nicely. There, 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 and there. Booped, booped. That right there is x18 as well. So this is going to be f of x. So as you can see, I'm going through the x-intercept, I'm going through the y-intercept. I have a max value of 18, but I have two distinct rules here. This is f of x, this is g of x. And just so you know, there's nothing special about why this is f of x or this is g of x. I could have easily swapped that around. But what you have to appreciate here is that I'm going through the same x, the same y, and I've got the same maximum, but I've got two different graphs going on here. So even though we're going to use our CAS to solve this, it's still important that we understand what we're doing. So what I need to know is, what are the rules for these graphs? What are the rules for them? Well, what information have I been given to help me out here? Well, I've been given the x-intercept. So I've been given 1 point there. The point is 1, 0. I've been given this point here. I've been given the point 0, 10. And I've also been told what the maximum value is. Now, how can I use the maximum value to my advantage here? Well, what I could do is I could write down the general rule for f of x and g of x using my turning point form And therefore, that would allow me to utilize my maximum value. What do I mean by that? Well, I'm going to write the general rule for f of x of g of x. And I'm going to use the turning point form to do that. So I'm going to write f of x and g of x using my turning point form. That's going to be a of x minus b squared plus c. Remember what this a, b, and c are doing. This a is the dilation factor. This b is telling me how far right or left I'm moving. And this c is telling me how far vertically up or down I'm going. Well, as you can clearly see, I know what the c value is going to be. It's going to be 18. I don't know what the b value is because I don't know what x is. So I don't know what the b value is, but I know that the c value is going to be 18 because it's been shifted up 18. So that means I can come here and I can go this, plus 18. All right, now this is the important part, everyone. I now have two unknowns, a and b. I have two unknowns. I also have 2 points that the graph goes through. Because I have 2 unknowns and I have 2 points, I can use my CAS to solve for these 2 unknowns. I can. I know. You're thinking, can you really? That sounds amazing. But it's true. Believe me. All right. Let's now come over here. Let's come to our trusty CAS calculator, which I hope you're learning to love. We're going to come here. And the first thing I'm going to do is just define this general rule. Now, I don't want to use F or G because I know that's going to be like the final thing I need. So let's just use another letter to define this. But don't be thrown off by the fact that I'm using another letter. Let's just call it h of x. So I'm going to say h of x control this is equal to a times x minus b squared plus 18. And again, don't be freaked out as to why I'm using h. I could have used any letter. I just want to use a letter other than f or g to represent this right here. As we go on, it will make more sense as to why I've used h here. Okay, we hit enter. So that is now defined. I now am going to go menu. I'm going to go algebra. I'm going to go solve system of equations here. And then here, I'm going to make this a, b. Because that's what I want to solve for, a and b. Perfect. Now, I know that one point that this graph goes through is 1, 0. So that means h of 1 is equal to 0. And I know another point that this graph goes through is 0, 10. So I can say h of 0 is equal to 10. Now, as you can see, that's exactly what we can see here. All I've put in is we know this point and we know this point. And of course, I've used the 18 information as well in creating the turning point form. But the main thing that you need to appreciate here is I have 2 unknowns, a and b, and I have 2 points, this point and this point. By putting all this information now into my trusty CAS, it's going to, by hitting enter, tell me what a and b is. And, we've done all the hard work now. The hard work is over. We are done. What we now need to do is just kind of read off what this is saying to me. This is saying that a is equal to negative 50 and b is equal to 215, or a is equal to negative 2 and b is equal to negative 2. So if we just come over here for a second, come over here. All right, if I come, no, that's fine. All right, so now I've got all the information I need. So I can say that f of x is equal to, now instead of a, I'm going to say negative 50. X minus, instead of b, I can say 215. Squared plus 18. I've done it. That's what f of x is going to be. And then I can tell you what g of x is going to be. G of x is equal to, so a this time is going to be negative 2. So negative 2 x minus, and b is going to be negative 2. So that's going to be plus 2 there. Squared plus 18. Perfect. And we're done, everyone. If you were in a test, these would be perfectly acceptable answers right here. This one right here is your f, and that's g of x. So we are done for all intents and purposes. But if you check the back of the book, they're actually not going to look like this because they don't write them in turning point form. They use a different form, what we would call like the general form, instead of using this. They just expand it out. So how could we expand it out using our CAS if we did want it in a particular way? You could go about the task of like putting in these numbers into this and then just typing in expand, there's another quicker way we could do it. We could go f of x, we're going to control this, we're going to define it as being h of x, and then I'm going to go control this such that, and then use your arrow keys to come up, and then what I want you to do is just highlight this part right here, and then go enter. And now, if you go, well, what is f of x? As you can see, the f is bold. There is our answer. So it's expanded it out for me. So as you can see, that's just a good way to use your CAS calculator. It's going to be negative 50x squared plus 40x plus 10. And that's what the back of the book says. And then we would do the same thing for g of x. So what I would do now is say, all right, g of x, control this, is equal to h of x such that, and then I would come here and get this part here, bang, bang, then go, what is g of x equal to? It is equal to that, and that's what the back of the book tells me that g of x is equal to. It might actually be the other way around. They might have called f of x, g of x, and g of x, f of x. That doesn't matter at all. Negative 2x squared minus 8x plus 10. So I'm pretty sure that's what the back of the book has. The back of the book has written them like that. And again, don't stress is if like the f of x is the g of x and the g of x is the f of x. That doesn't matter. And, you know, we're done, but let's kind of just graph these things on our CAS now just to prove to ourselves that it's going to look like this. So we're going to come here, we're going to go control, add doc, add graph. I could graph f of x here. Now, I don't want to create sliders, cancel, because that's what the graph is going to be, table, and then I want to go g of x. Don't create sliders for it, a and b, we know what they are. I'm going to have to go window zoom. I'm going to zoom out, out, out. Then I'm going to just put a box around this just to get a better view of what I'm doing. Would you look at that? That and that look like what we've got here. And sure enough, if we were to find my maximum of that red one, whoop, it's going to be negative 218. So as you can see, the maximum is 18. Analyze, if I found the maximum of my blue one, once again, the maximum is 18. If I was to try to find the Y-intercept, I would come here. I would type in x is 0, would give me the Y-intercept. So when x is 0, I get 0, 10. If I now want to see what the red graph is for when x is 0, you just hit this up button here. And as you can see, it's now looking at the other one. And sure enough, 0, 10. So it's both going through the same Y-intercept. And then last but not least, if I wanted to check the X-intercept, and of course, you don't really have to do all this. This is just overkill now. I'm just kind of proving it to you. And that's 1 of 0 as well. We've done it, everyone. So that is how to use your CAS. And as you can see, pretty easy stuff. That was only real step there. You could have gotten these values and then straight away have just written this and gotten your answer and been done with it all. We just wrote it down as the back of the book saw it and also gave it a sketch just to prove to us a bit more what was going on. But that's it. That's how you can do this question. So it's really important that you just become really comfortable with your CAS and just feel good with it. All right. In the next part, I'm going to show you how to do this by hand. And it's really quite atrocious doing it by hand. But it's a good skills to develop and it really shows you what methods is all about. You know, it's tough, but we love it, don't we? All right. I'll see you in the next part.